This time we'll have roll call. Mr. Clerk?
Dominic.
Present.
Lyndon Johnson. Jackson.
Here.
Lynn. Dolan.
Here. Present.
Hawthorne. Gage Watts.
Present.
Middleton.
Hello.
Atkins.
Here.
Chavez. Smith.
Present.
Lewis Johnson. We
Okay.
have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. We'll have the invocation by Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson, and we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Stephen Jackson. Please stand.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, most gracious Father, we come to you right now to say thank you.
Thank you, Lord.
Father, for allowing us to serve the citizens of Caddo Parish. Father, we ask that you will guide our hearts in the right direction, that we will be in the service of mankind and not service for ourselves. So, Father, we also ask that you would continue to bless the men and women that serve our country day in and day out to keep us free. Because freedom is not free itself, it is costly.
Yes.
Father, we ask also that you will provide protection for those innocent individuals that have been shot and comfort their families,
Yes.
Father, that they may know that all decisions that you make are made by you and not by anyone else. And that at times like this we don't understand, but they are done for a reason. And these things we ask in your Son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Please place your hand over your heart. Active and retired military, render the proper salute and say in unison with me the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
Under God.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Make up for old time. Welcome back, Commissioner Bowman.
Thank you, commissioners, for the prayer and for the pledge. And if we could just have a moment of silence for the 1-month-old baby Queen Dean. Thank you. Mr. Clark?
I have no agenda additions.
I have none.
Next, we move to citizen comments.
Okay, citizens who wish to address the commission must fill out a comment card and forward to the president or the clerk of the commission. Comments by any citizen will be limited to 3 minutes. I have Ms. Martha Carter.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I want
Welcome.
to say, first off, giving me the opportunity, I appreciate it. President Gage Watts, Vice President Chavez, Commissioners, and Dr. Wilson. My name is Martha Carter, and I'm here representing the Caddo Parish 911 Communications District, and I serve as the Director of the 911 Emergency Reporting System for the citizens of Caddo Parish. There is an item that's on your agenda today that will be introduced, I understand, during your normal meeting on Thursday. And I understand the process will be is that it will be held over, and then consideration or final consideration will be, I want to say, August the 22nd. But I wanted to go ahead and brief you on the agenda item. It's resolution number 62 of 2019. Give you an overview and then welcome any questions that you may have. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be here on Thursday, but my legal counsel, Mr. Charles Grubb, will be available if y'all have any questions. Charles is in the audience, and I know he loves that when I say that he will be here to answer any questions if you have any during your normal business meeting. As y'all know, the 911 district is a political subdivision of the state of Louisiana, and we were formed by the Parish Commission in 1985. And our task or our mission is the administration and the management of the 911 system. The proposed cooperative endeavor agreement that is on your agenda for consideration is relative to a new radio system that the 911 district will be implementing. It's very similar to the current cooperative endeavor agreement between our entities that we currently have in place. In September of 2001, the Caddo Parish 911 District implemented a parish-wide analog radio system for the use of all of our public safety entities as well as several local governmental entities. In fact, there's about 60 different organizations that operate on our radio system. Bottom line is that the system is almost 18 years old and it's considered end of life. And end of life from a technology perspective means that component parts are no longer being manufactured and they're hard to get on secondary markets. Because we knew this was ultimately going to happen in 2017, we came before the commission and we got requests to go to the bond commission to be able to incur bonds and borrow against our revenue stream to be able to purchase the system. At the end of 2017, we competitively bid and procured a new digital radio system for $12.5 million. And since that time, we've been working with the different agencies planning for implementation. In the agreement that will be for your consideration under Resolution 62, it contemplates that we purchase all of the radio equipment for all of the public safety agencies in the parish at no cost to them. That we're absorbing the total capital outlay for the mobile and portable radios that go into the different public safety vehicles, which includes our parish fire districts, our municipal police departments, as well as the Caddo Parish Sheriff's Department, the Shreveport Police, and the Shreveport Fire Department. And this includes batteries, chargers, accessories. That's a total of about $6 million that will be going to these different agencies. In an effort to migrate everybody at the same time, because we do have local governmental users on that system, we issued proposals to the different governmental entities asking them if they would migrate with us at the same time we do public safety. And so we put together a proposal. We started meeting with the different leaderships, and we met with Dr. Wilson and his staff early in 2018 because the Parish Commission has some of their departments operating on our system now, such as your building and grounds, your animal services, and your roadway departments. We met with them under the proposal to say, if we buy the radios for you, will you agree to reimburse us for those radios? And so we've contracted or developed a contract that is before y'all today that basically says that we will buy the radios for you, you will reimburse us. The total amount of the radios that we have agreed to purchase, there's 45 radios and it'll amount to about $47,000. And we've put forth in the cooperative endeavor agreement that the agencies can pay us back over a 3-year period. They can be billed on a monthly, quarterly, or an annual basis, but it'll be a period over 36 months at no interest or no cost other than the pure cost of the radio itself. So I wanted to kind of give you an idea of what we're proposing to do in the contract, but also say with these radios that we've purchased, they come a 3-year warranty. There will be no costs associated with using the radio system for 3 years. Currently, within your agreement, you pay a $5 per month per radio fee. During the course of the warranty for the system as well as the radios, there will be no airtime fees.
Time.
Move to extend.
I'm wrapping up.
Any objections?
Second.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate you allowing me. I just want to say that at the expiration of the radio system warranty, that $5 per month would kick in, and that's the same amount that you're paying currently. Wanted to know if you had any other questions that you may have of us. The radios have been delivered. They're in a bonded warehouse, and we are starting the implementation of the system, such as we've just finished up all the small municipal police departments' mobile radios in their vehicles. We finished all the fire district mobile installs. We are now working to develop a schedule for the Shreveport Police Department and then the Caddo Parish Sheriff's Office. So the scheduling will be contingent upon, we've got coverage testing still left to do, and final acceptance of the system before we would actually distribute the equipment to the agencies. I welcome any comments or questions that you may have. I realize that y'all have a couple of weeks to review the contract, and just wanted to know if you have any questions or you need anything, please don't hesitate to let me know. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Can I suspend the rules to ask questions?
Second your motion.
What we'll do is we have another opportunity for you to come up during our during our administrator's report, and at that time we'll ask questions.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Thank you. Commissioner Lewis Johnson, that's what you were on the board also?
I was on the board to
Okay.
ask to suspend the rules for that purpose. Thank you.
All right, next item, Mr. Clerk.
There are no other cards. We move to visitors. Got Ms. Reagan Rucker Terzia, Program Development Robinson's Rescue.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Commissioners, I'm Dr. Andrea Master Everson, and I'm going to do the actual report, but I did want to introduce you all to our new Director of Development, Ms. Reagan Terja. So she is going to be probably, your counterpart, and she'll be calling y'all after this presentation, kind of giving you more frequent updates on the numbers and everything. But first of all, we're going to start with a big round of applause and thank you to y'all's support for our programs. We are growing and growing and growing. This year, it's amazing. We've hit over 60,000 surgeries in 10 years. That is a lot of animals that we have prevented from reproducing, and they love to reproduce. That's a lot of surgeries that we've done with the One Vet team, and we could not have done that support without the Caddo Parish Commission. Y'all have been our partners since the beginning, so thank you so much. We are really excited about the future, and it wouldn't have been possible without the support of y'all. So big applause. With your direct support of our free program, our subsidized program, we've been able to do over 5,000 surgeries. So those are 5,000 animals of people who made less than $1,500 a month who couldn't afford to do a spay neuter surgery at a low cost fee. That is amazing. That's helped so many animals not have to go into our shelter, so many animals from having litters and upon litters that would have to end up in our shelter. It's also saved our tax dollars because those animals that come in the shelter, of course, as y'all know, that budget is quite high. So we're very thankful for that. So as we continue to grow, we continue to see an increase in that program. And that program is directly what our y'all's money goes to. So that just goes to the surgery, the spay or neuter, and a rabies at the time of the exam. As you can see, we started out that first year doing really low numbers, and now we've grown that program tremendously through education and outreach. This year we have $35,000 we're working on. So we've already done 455 surgeries. And so we're running out of that money for this year. That is the direct money for our Caddo Parish SNP money. So that means y'all's funds go just to Caddo Parish. However much, y'all dedicate towards us, that's how much we do outreach and education just for Caddo Parish. When we do, we do fundraise, we grant write. We're very thankful to have a strong team, but those funds go to first come, first serve. Y'all's funds are directly for Caddo Parish. Right. So I can't control, those other numbers after we run out of the dedicated funds, but we're doing great. We're really helping some good people all over the parish, and that's one thing I really want to grow is to get into your districts and know where the animals are and how we can help more. And Reagan and her team are going to kind of be that counteracting. So, but we're excited to see those numbers. As they continue to grow, the intake and euthanasia numbers continue to decrease. So 2019 has been a big year for us with the 60,000 mark. It's really exciting, but the most important thing is that we're seeing the statistics change. I love what I do. We do about 35 to 40 surgeries a day. However, it's not important if we're not in the right target areas. And that's so important about this program is that we're in those areas that need these resources, and we're making sure that we're marketing to them, and we take the time to really get those animals in need. We are, very thankful to have a really good relationship with Caddo Parish Animal Control and everybody down there, and I feel like they're part of our team, and we're sharing statistics. We're making sure we're in the right neighborhoods and making sure that we're causing these problems. So community outreach is huge on our part. We are, any festival, any event that we're aware of in your neighborhood, we're there. We are making sure that people can get their animal on our books to be spay neutered, and we have a list in y'all's packet of everything that we've kind of attended and everything we're growing. But it takes power, it takes a lot of resources to get into these communities, and so we're starting a young professionals initiative for Robinson's Rescue, and so we have about 20 people who are signing up to serve on a young professionals board for Robinson's for a year, and they're going to be our volunteers. They're going to be also we're training another group of people, another People who might have known about us, but maybe did not know exactly what we do. So that's awesome, and they get to see our relationship. So that's exciting for y'all, for Caddo Parish, to be proud of that. These are more citizens that are learning, about the resources that y'all are providing for these people in need. So we're very, very thankful about this Young Professionals Committee. And in your upcoming events, I did list a lot of what we're doing this next month, and one of those is a Young Professionals kind of just a meet and greet, and we'd love if y'all can attend. It's tomorrow at Bistro Byron, so I think that's on there. But the main difference between 2018 and 2019 is that you've seen reduce the pet overpopulation by 3,000 animals. We've saved Caddo Parish Animal Control a lot of money. So if we do all the, how much it is per animal in sheltering, that's kind of an average of $375,000. And then they've really decreased their intake numbers and euthanasia numbers, and of course that euthanasia rate. So, spay neuter is a huge part of this puzzle, and we're here to provide those resources. What's amazing about Robinson's Rescue and our relationship is that we have not had to increase our overall price. So that's the general price that we charge to anybody who comes in, the general price we charge to any rescue who might have pulled animals from Caddo Parish Animal Shelter, or any animal that comes to us that that's in Caddo. We haven't had to increase that price. My drugs have tripled. I almost fell over this morning when I got my morphine bill. It's really, drugs and supplies have gone up because we're really fortunate to have a good, strong relationships in this community, and on a national level, we're able to fundraise to be able to decrease those costs and not have to increase. So it helps everybody. We do at least every week about 40 to 50 animals coming from other rescues and shelters, and that's great because they're pulling animals as they come in, to our municipal shelter, and so we're able to provide that low-cost resource for them. So I'm very, very proud of that. But we want to continue to make an impact. We're seeing these statistics, and that's great, but I do not like plateaus. I like things going in the right direction, and I really want to see this impact this community. I've been doing this for almost 11 years, and I'm not doing, it's a lot of fun, and I'm very fortunate to have this position, but I want to see a change, and I want to see us, and I'm really goal-oriented, and I'm just thankful for our relationship. We're here to serve these people and their pets in need. We're here to increase the education and outreach because the next generation has to know how important it is, has to know how important spay neuter is, or not our shelter numbers are just going to increase, But we're really here to be the partner to decrease the shelter intake and euthanasia rate. So, and we couldn't do this without y'all's support. So, that's mainly the main thing is that coming up this past year, we were very fortunate, and thank y'all so much for the $35,000. But we are asking for $50 because we really want to see an impact. We've also been studying the poverty level, and we used to do our SNP program, our subsidized program, based on if you made $1,500 or less. We've increased that for 2020 to $1,800 or less because of the poverty level. So that's great for our citizens because those who need it the most. However, that means that the money's going to go a little bit faster. So hopefully in 2020 we'll be able to do 798 Caddo Parish specific spay neuter surgeries with the support of the Caddo Parish Commission. So again, this is just a kickoff. It's a big thank you. Our goals for the end of 2020 is to be around that 85,000 mark of animals and to really continue to see this. I don't want it to plateau. I don't want us to become undedicated to this mission. I really want us to see, this increased outreach, education, and making sure the next generation knows how important spay neuter is. So we're very thankful for your partnership. Very thankful to have Caddo Parish Animal Control and doing this awesome. We are. And just wanted to come in and give you an update. If y'all have any questions for us, myself or Reagan will probably be calling y'all individually these next few weeks, kind of trying to get some more target areas and to see ways that we can improve. So yes, so thank y'all so much. Any questions?
Thank you so much for that update. Of course, we have some questions and comments here. We'll start with Commissioner Matthew Lynn.
10 years ago, fellow commissioners, when we began conversations with Dr. Masters Everson, our euthanasia rate, the animals that we were putting down at Caddo Parish Animal Shelter, had been steadily increasing and increasing and increasing. And we were trying to get ahead of the curve on this. And so one of the goals that we had in partnership with Robinson Rescue was to spay and neuter all of these pets that were in Caddo Parish. And for the people that did not have the money to spay and neuter their pets, we did not want financial limitations to keep them from having their pets spay or neutered, and thus began the partnership with Robinson Rescue, with Caddo Parish, recognizing that some of the very few things that we are technically and legally obligated to by the state and parish charter is animal services. And so we are not obligated to serve the citizens by a lot of the things that we do. However, we are obligated to handle juvenile, to handle road, streets, bridges, parish parks, and animal services. And so to see that from 2018 to 2019, we have put down 1,000 animals less than what we did the year before is the polar opposite of where we were when this program began. And I believe that we have been slowly putting down less animals each year. For it to continue on this trend, I really think that we do need to increase the funding to Robinson Rescue so that it ultimately saves money at Caddo Parish Animal Services, because $1 spent with Robinson is, I believe, $10 saved at Caddo Parish Animal Services. And so it's all taxpayer citizen money, and if we can save them, and save lives at the same time, it seems like an easy decision. Dr. Andrea Masters Everson, there at one point was a time where I saw a number of all of the animals that Caddo Parish would have if no spay and neuters had ever been done by Robinson Rescue, and then those pets had pets, and those pets had pets, and it was in the hundreds of thousands, and it was all done tongue in cheek, but in reality, it could have been a possibility, and we would be way closer to those numbers now than we would be less than 1,000 less than the year before. Do you remember those numbers?
The exact numbers, are a little bit iffy, but if you do the math, so an average cat can have 5 to 7 litters a year, which is a crazy amount. And then you think per litter, you can have 5 to 8 average kittens, and then dogs 3 to 4 litters per year, an average of 4 to 8. So, and if we did 5,000 surgeries, so multiply it, if you hadn't have done those 5,000 times that. So it's a tremendous number, and there's a variable, but that's a roundabout how much it saves, and it's amazing how much it impacts too, because people don't realize how quickly animals can get pregnant again, and so there's so many people in need that obviously they might be feeding these animals, but maybe they don't know exactly how they operate, and so they'll bring them in and they'll be like, oh, they just had 3 more litters. We were trying to get them in, So that's what we're here, is kind of to pull that education together and let them know how important early spay neuter is too. So.
Thank you for everything that you do, and I greatly appreciate my commissioners allowing Robinson Rescue to be a partner with Caddo Parish. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Commissioner Matthew Lynn. Vice President Chavez.
Thanks, President. Dr. Everson, thanks for coming down and for all the hard work you guys are doing for our community. These numbers are awesome. I'm not going to touch on all the stuff that Commissioner Lynn said about the NGOs, but I completely agree with him. I know later on down our agenda, somebody wants to suspend them. Maybe friendly amendment would be to leave Robinson Rescue out, and we can keep funding them and maybe help them a little more, because that directly affects our parish. Ms. Terzia, welcome aboard. I know you're going to do really well there. And one thing I did want to ask is for the low-income community, the ones that we're really helping out. I know it's a harder demographic to get when you're doing media and direct marketing. So how have you guys combated that to get that message down that, hey, we have free spay and neutering, and if you make less than 800, come on down? It's just interesting to me to figure that out.
Oh yeah, no, well, I have been formally trained on this program called Pets for Life, which is a Humane Society based program, which is a door-to-door kind of getting in these smaller neighborhoods of targeting an area. So we've picked different neighborhoods throughout the year, which are high focused, high target areas. We've done Caddo Heights, we've done Cedar Grove, we've done some of these really low income areas, and we've done lots of statistics of how many, where the dogs are, where the cats are, and gone block by block. That's worked, but it takes a lot of volunteers to be able to do that system. I definitely believe in tracking those. However, we're also we're using our resources smartly. So we partner with other organizations that are in those neighborhoods, like, Common Ground and Cedar Grove. Like, we would, share whenever they would have a soup night or an event going on in their gym, we'd be there. Same with the Highland Center. We've gone to, things like there, like Soup Kitchen. So we're kind of like piggybacking on with other organizations that are targeting the same population, so that we're kind of going in with numbers and providing those resources. Any kind of like job fair, any kind of, we were just at, I don't remember the exact name, but I think we've been at a lot of fairs that people just starting out, younger demographic who might not have that income level too, kind of going that route. So we're always learning more, but we'd love to brainstorm in your neighborhood if you have events to make sure that we know. I know we go to yours in the spring a lot,
Right.
and we're at that festival. But if there's certain streets that are really struggling, that we'd love to help out. So
I appreciate that. If you guys are ever coming to Southern Hills and you're going door to door, let me know. I'd go with you. I'd love to do that.
we love.
Thank you, President.
Thank you. Parliamentarian Bowman.
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, thank you all both for coming down. Dr. Everson, I always know, and I'm very proud of you. I know when I echo the sentiments of Commissioner Lynn as he was stating, I wasn't here 10 years ago, but I know what my mother, Joyce Bowman, also helped and supported with, but also me being the first Animal Services chairperson, I was able to work with you. And so one of the things that we discussed was your involvement, or seeing more involvement from Robinson's Rescue into the urban areas as well. And I can also say, and even having a better, at the time, relationship with our Animal Services and Caddo Animal. But what I noticed, and I can truly attest and say, is that it was less than a year of our conversation. You took that and ran with it. I saw more love and sincerity. You got a chance to make me put my money where my mouth is. I came out there, I watched, volunteered, even with surgeries and seeing everything of that nature, and that's just like a super ministry. And to know that we're doing this, and I've seen so much of the increase and the sincere love that no one can just really be paid for that, much less, I think that's why it's so needed that we continue to make sure that you're supported, whether you move from NGOs to Economic Development Committee, because you still should be in a committee regardless, and we're going to support, I think, whatever's working and good beyond politics. So I do believe that what's done right, and you all have been doing right, by right, all will be added unto you, and that's my sentiment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Parliamentarian Bowman. Thank you all so much for coming down and giving us this update. I think I see a commissioner getting on board. Did you get on board, Commissioner Dominic? Was that you?
I'm not
Okay.
on board.
Okay.
Sorry.
I thank you for your service that you're doing in the community, and I also thank you for having a representative there for our annual expungement summit, working along with Animal Services, and he was very grateful that we included him to be a part of this year with your organization. So we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to make sure the community knows what's available to them. I noticed on your pamphlet that you shared that you had South Highlands. Is that the only elementary school that you do community outreach with?
We would love to do more. We kind of got in through a little bit, not officially. My son goes there, so his teacher just asked me to start that. So it kind of became a weekly thing. But I think, we definitely have different volunteer opportunities, and we'd love to see that grow into other schools, and definitely schools in different areas. So that would be exciting.
We believe knowledge is power, so we
yes.
want to get them as early as possible educated on the importance of caring for their animals.
Exactly.
And doing things the correct way, living up to all of our code enforcement and animal laws as well. So please look into that as soon as possible.
yeah.
I have several schools that I would love for you all to visit.
Great. And I love that, Caddo Parish Animal Control has the program too, where they could come to the shelter and read to those dogs too. And that melted my heart too when I saw that. So no, I love it. So great. We would love to do more.
Thank you so much for your service.
Thanks.
Okay, I see no other comments.
Thank y'all. We
All
appreciate
right.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Next
Mr. Clerk?
Next, we move to reports, administrative report.
President Gage Watts, and Commissioners, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'd just like to share a comment about Robinson Rescue. Dr. Everson and you and your team are doing a great job, and thank you so much. You're not just talking about it, you're trying to be about solving a problem, and that's what makes a difference in our community, because it's a community-wide problem, and we need every available tool in the bag to address the issue. So, in my opinion, it's money well spent investing in Robinson Rescue. At this time, we'd like to introduce some of our young people from our summer program, from a successful summer program. They'll be coming forward and introducing themselves and showing you some of what they did this past summer and for your investment that we have made in these young people.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you. My name is Caitlin McClure. This is my second year working in the student worker program. I work in human resources. And this fall, I plan to attend Louisiana Tech University, and I will be majoring in kinesiology.
All right. So you're going to be a physical therapist?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay.
Hi, my name is Raven Bowman. I am currently a psychology major at the Louisiana State University, and this is my 4th summer here.
Hey, Raven.
Hey, Raven.
Hi, my name is Taha Hyatt. This is my first year in this program, and I am a junior at Centenary College.
Hi, Tom.
He's great.
Oh, and so we have a video prepared for you about the program.
All right.
Can you hear it?
Is audio with it?
Send a sound to it.
Start it
Turn it up,
over.
Crystal.
Good boy.
Now, we've had trouble with the audio on this. They may need to change. Call them and make sure they're changed at the podium.
This never happens with this technology we have
Oh,
around
no.
here. We just pause for the cause.
Let the students fix it.
Probably right.
They worked all summer.
Yeah.
Go dogs.
Todd, you using a laptop down there?
But it's even these speakers here.
Uh-oh.
I just wish we could pause.
Tech support coming to you.
That's it. I just know if we pause it, we don't have to see it without
Turn up
hearing.
the sound or what?
It plugs it in.
He can do it. He did okay. Hey, we lose Caddo now.
Put on the
Well, I will
website.
too. See, ain't no bigger than mine. With the background.
Just let the kid talk. We catch that later.
I don't know why they're just playing talk. Lynn, you know, I wonder why people play with grown people. They don't know which one is crazy. I read the blog, so for them. Second check of the day.
Hey, Crystal.
Yeah, just let them talk, and we catch that on the website. Put that on the website. Just let them talk.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you to the commission for having us. So we just wanted to give you a summary of some of the skills that we learned from the program. And the video that you were supposed to see, so it has our volunteer event that we had last Friday. And for us, the importance of this event was being able to serve the community, but also the skills that we learned were having to form a subcommittee and having to do everything from working with the Holy Angels nonprofit, and also everything from that to booking them to also just everything as small as just having the T-shirts and working out the logistics among ourselves. And so that was important for us to have the skills of event planning. And then in terms of other skills that we learned, we had to work with a big group of people. You know, we learned what it's kind of like to be, you know, our teachers when we were younger, you know, having to work with lots of students at one time and having to make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then in terms of like public speaking that we had to do, we worked a lot with Miss Erica Thomas, and we took classes on public speaking, and we learned about the importance of public speaking and how to communicate effectively with our peers. We learned about customer service and how to answer the phones and, you know, do all the day-to-day activities that are done in the office and just working within an office environment. And so we just wanted to also add that at the end of our whole program, we had the nice conclusion of having a lecture about leadership from Commissioner Jackson and from Quentin Ott. And it was a very nice conclusion to everything because it allowed us to take all the skills that we had learned, and then now we're going to go use them in our community and use them to improve our community. And so we just want to thank the entire commission for making this program possible and for giving us this opportunity. So, thank you.
Thank you, Tyler.
Great job. Any other comments? Any other comments? Okay, that's fine. Hey, commissioners, we had, what was it, 60 young people working with us this past summer, and I had the opportunity to speak to them in different forums. And it was more than just coming to work at a job. It was a lot of professional development training and how to dress for the jobs, how to interview, what's important about getting to work on time. All those things we try to pass on to our young people so they can learn that and come back perhaps as model citizens in the future. So it was another wonderful investment on your part, and these young people will be the future of our community tomorrow.
Well, kudos to another great year for our summer work
ma'am.
student program. We're so proud to be able to continue to make that investment for them because we know without this program, they would never have this type of exposure that they've gotten through this program. And I know I'm very confident in knowing that there will be different youth for the world because of this. So thank you for all of you, the administration, and all of us who believe in this program is important.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
President Watts, we have a presentation by Mr. Calvin Samuels. He had the opportunity to attend the Best Friends Conference, and they're one of our partners. You know, they came to the community at our request a couple of years ago and do an analysis on our operation and made some recommendations, and we restructure our organization according to those recommendations.
Okay.
So we've gotten some notable things from them we'd like to share with you all. So,
Okay,
Mr. Calvin?
before you bring him up, Dr. Wilson,
Yes,
I have
ma'am.
2 commissioners on the board, and I'm sure
Okay.
that they would
I'm
like to
sorry.
make some comments
Yes, ma'am.
about the summer work program. Commissioner Stephen Jackson?
Oh, I could have waited, but I just want to say I echo a lot of what has been said about the summer program. It's a valuable program.
It is.
And the mark that these students leave on Caddo, Parish, Shreveport, Blanchard, wherever they're from, it's an experience that when I grew up, we didn't have. The JTPA program had been cut. A lot of the summer job money had been cut, and so I didn't have the privilege of working during the summer months. I had to go out and cut the grass and sell freeze cups and try to make a hustle the best way that I could. But I just I like the diversity that is involved in the program. I like the experience, well-rounded experience that they get, and the service component. I know I had been talking about that.
And thank you for that suggestion as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes,
and I
sir.
think they enjoyed going out to the port last week.
Yes, they did.
Because what we have to teach young folks at a very young age is the assets that they go looking for in other places are right here.
Yeah,
And a lot of people leave Shreveport and Caddo Parish not even knowing or being exposed to the resources and information and tools that we have right here in Shreveport. They'll go over to Houston and work at the AT&T store simply because they don't know the assets that are here. And I think our census is coming up. And what we're gonna probably see at that young age is a line that's gonna continue to go down. And so when we talk about these type of programs, not only are we talking about an investment in young people's lives, we're talking about retention. We're talking about human capital being retained. And I don't ever mean to agree with Bobby Jindal, but I think he said that we can't tax our way to prosperity. We have to grow our way, and not only grow our way from a form of economic development, but human capital. We have to grow and cultivate human capital in our city and in our parish. So I appreciate the work that they were engaged in, and I look forward to us growing it and reaching out to the private sector to get them involved and have them sponsor some of these young folks. So appreciate the work that we're putting into it. Thank you, Madam President.
Yeah.
Commissioner Jackson, I was just going to tell you, there are some who need some education about freeze cups, but you said something JCPA. I hadn't heard this since my freshman year in college. So tell them what a freeze cup is, because everybody went
frozen Kool-Aid.
It's Kool-Aid, for those who do not know. It's Kool-Aid, and you put it in a styrofoam cup, and if you really creative, you freeze it about halfway and almost make it a slushy. And if you real about it, you peel the top of the cup off and flip it over. And
that's
you
what
flip
a good part
freeze
is.
cup over.
And if you argue, you put a marmalade or a pickle.
A marmalade or a pickle in it, and you eat it from the bottom up. So, but I'm more than welcome.
I just needed you to give that caveat about what a freeze cup was.
What's the break-even point on your freeze? You said you sold them, didn't you? Yeah. What's the break-even point?
I wasn't that sophisticated.
Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson.
Thank you, Madam President. I want to thank my colleagues for supporting this program this past summer. I know there's sometimes there was some hesitant about doing it, but as you can see that it benefits the youth that we have. When we first introduced this program, reintroduced this program last term, there was hesitation then because the way that the program worked in the past is that we had too many students and they really didn't have nothing to do when someone was just sitting around twiddling their thumbs. But the program now has evolved over the time that we reintroduced it to now that they're also doing a community service project, which when I heard about that last week, I was like, wow. I said, whose idea was that? So the kids are, they're excited about that summer program, and I'm quite sure if they could come back next year, all of them are willing to come back next year. If you just see some of them working during the day, I came up here the other day and saw some of them in the office building. Everybody was doing something. It was always being productive. So I also want to thank the department heads and their staff to make sure that those kids had avenues to do work that was meaningful, that would then help them as they go to college, and will benefit them when they get out of college. Something that they can add to their resume that they work for our parish government for the summer. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Commissioner. Parliamentarian Bowman.
Thank you, Madam. I'll be brief. I just want to say just pretty much the same things everyone else said, but even what Commissioner Johnson said, this program works. It always has worked. In any program, there's always, in anything, there's always room for improvement. In any person, there's always room for improvement. But one thing I've seen is that it's proven itself. There's been many people in the past few years and years since the program, it has benefited, and we've seen it not only personally, maybe some haven't seen personally, but I can truly say, and if we don't mind, are any participants still there? If you don't mind, Ms. Raven, can you come, please, just for 1 second? I hope she doesn't mind, but I know this is my own personal account I can see. I would just call her Miss Raven. Miss Raven, when she started this program, she met so many people working here that have impacted her life. and this is the sentiments from other workers. What you all don't know is that Ms. Raven, to show you how this program helps, Ms. Raven lost her mother when she started the program. She was just a teenager, barely even 16 years old. Her grandmother and grandfather raised her. He died. Through all of that, from Southwood High School to even at LSU in Baton Rouge, this young lady has maintained a 4.0 GPA. So I love by telling them how this damn program has impacted their lives and how it should be done away and people not working, because I know for myself what I've seen. Not just from others, but I know specifically with this young lady in front of me. And that's all I have to say about it. And I thank you, and I thank you.
I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Amen. Okay.
Commissioner Lynn Carthon.
Yes, I just briefly want to chime in with a testimonial also as it relates to this program. I think one of the first students that I ever recommended to the program, which is 4 years ago, has been permanently working for the parish of Caddo for the last 3 years and going to school part-time, Southern University at Sussex. So there are some skills that can be garnered from being a part of the program, and there are some several success stories as a result of such. Thanks.
Awesome.
I believe Mr. Stephen Walker upstairs was a product of the summer program as well. And I myself was a summer worker back in the day that set my path on the military career. If it wasn't for that program, who knows where I would have been at this time.
Yeah.
But I thank you all for your bravery and support the program. So, Mr. Kevin, you want to come on up and tell us what Best Friends?
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
So Animal Services and Mosquito Control sent 4 staff members to Dallas, Texas to attend the 2019 Best Friends National Conference. So frequent topics at the conference included community cat programs, return to home programs in the field, improving animal health while in shelter environment, increasing community involvement. So during the conference, staff networked. We found new animal transport opportunities. We won big. Officer Baker won a $2,500 grant from Maddie's Fund. The money will go into developing a program for officers to assist animals in the field, so that way we can keep them from even entering the shelter. Parvovirus protocols will include further life-saving resources, and the community outreach will expand. So along with this grant, the staff won Best Group at the end of the conference dinner. After the conference, Best Friends regional representatives came from, I think they're somewhere in Arkansas, to visit us on a friendly visit just to talk about the takeaways. So Animal Services staff is very grateful for the resources and funding the conference allotted, as well as all the new networks that were created while in Texas. So the biggest takeaway for the staff, in my opinion, is that they saw that this is a nationwide movement. This just isn't Shreveport. All the way from California to the East Coast, everyone goes through the same struggles. The second biggest takeaway is that it takes an entire community to move us forward in this pet responsibility. And positive energy always trumps negative energy. So we have to join as one community to move forward. So we thank you so much for that. Also, while I'm standing here, don't forget about Clear the Shelter on August 17th from 10 to 2 p.m. at Caddo Parish Animal Services, and Running with the Bulls on August the 10th from 8 to 1 p.m. at Columbia Park. So thank you so much.
What was that date for clearing the shelter?
What's the date for clearing the shelter date?
Clear the Shelter is going to be August 17th from 10 to 2 p.m. And Running with the Bulls is going to be August the 10th from 8 to 1 at Columbia Park.
On the same thing with Robinson's Rescue?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
You're the
Thank you.
best.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Next to the director.
President Gage Watts, moving right along. You should have at your desk a copy of the 2018 annual audit report. You should have a copy of that. And I also like to bring it back up Mr. Martha White at this time to address some questions.
Thank you.
And I want to say before she get to the mic that we have this item in our budget.
Martha
Carter.
Uh,
Martha White is the cornbread.
I'm sorry.
Martha Carter.
Come on up. Sorry. I stand to be corrected on that. So anyway, so the items for the cost for the radio is in our 2019 budget.
I will answer to anything.
Okay,
All right.
Usually I do too, but under the
I
bus.
understand. Oh, I appreciate you.
Okay.
Okay, Commissioner Lewis Johnson.
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, it's good to see you, Ms. Martha.
Good to see you.
I've had the honor of working with you, obviously, over the years, and the 911 Center does an excellent job, and they're recognized everywhere for the good job that you do, so I want to commend you on that in this setting. My question for you, the communications that we're talking about, are the fire districts included in that?
Yes, sir. In fact, we have purchased radios for every public safety agency in the parish at no cost to them, and we purchased the radios based upon inventory counts that they gave us. So all of the fire districts have radios that will have new radios installed and working for them, just like the small municipal police departments, the Shreveport Police, Fire, EMS, as well as the Caddo Parish Sheriff's Office.
Okay, and that's a very relevant, that's relevant information for us, and that all of the fire districts are included in this. And our communications and how vital it is to our overall public safety and the response to our community is often overlooked. We see the police officers and we see the firefighters and we see the difference that they make in the community as relates to when there are disasters and trouble and need for emergency response, but it really all begins with communication.
I appreciate that, Commissioner, but I want to tell y'all, when I came up here earlier, I was shaken. It wasn't because I didn't want to address you, but when I walked out of the building this afternoon to come here, the building next door to us was on fire.
No.
And so I had to call myself. I stood in the parking lot and I called 911, and I just assumed they knew who I was. And I said, the building on fire, the building next to us is on fire. And they're going, and who are you? And I said, oh, wait a minute. I did exactly what our citizens do. They blurt out information, but until you're in that moment, you don't understand. And so I literally called myself, and of course, then I went through this is Martha Carter. I'm standing out in front of our parking lot at 1144 Texas Avenue, and the vacant building next door to us is on fire. And of course, then of course the fire department responded, and so did the police department. But anyway, I wanted to say thank you for your gracious remarks. I appreciate that. But until you're faced in that situation, you don't know how you're going to react. And I've been doing this for 30 years, and I just picked up the phone and thought, well, everybody knows it's Martha Carter. Everybody knows my phone number, and everybody knows where I'm located. But anyway, I wanted to share. I appreciate that.
I really appreciate that. And the last thing I want to say is that by all of the parish having the same communication system, it's just completely invaluable. There are no second-class responders. The parish, the city, police, a sheriff, everyone has the same level of communication, and that's very, very valuable. And we learned that if bad guys want to hurt a community, if they want to come in and cripple a community, they start with a weak communication system. If you have a bad communication system or an inability to communicate, then there's no way that the people who need help and the ones who provide help can get there safely. So it's a very valuable service. It's relevant for all of us as it relates to a parish and the services that we count on every day. And it is in our core of what we do as it relates to quality of life and safety and public safety and those things that concern us. So I wanted to say that, but once again, I want to commend you and the job that the 911 Center does.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
You're welcome. I'm just going to use a little of your time there. grateful to know that you were not shaking to stand before us. But I'm also grateful to know that unlike a lot of people, you don't fall apart during those type of situations. You fall apart afterwards. That's pretty much
It was
how
like after I called Charles and said, fill out a card for me, and
Yeah.
you may have to speak.
Okay. But that's good, and I thank you so much for sharing that analogy because it speaks volumes to so many
appreciate that.
capacities in our life that you don't know about a situation until you're actually in it. So I thank you for sharing that as well.
Thank you, Madam President. I do want to say one thing as far as what Commissioner Johnson alluded to, was that the reason that it's so important that the Parish Commission migrate with us is that it's not just police, fire, and sheriff's department that respond. It's when we have a major emergency or natural disaster that we depend upon our public works, we depend upon our water and sewage departments, we depend upon our road crews. And so having the same communication system where it does provide total interoperability is truly a service, not only to our departments, but to the citizens that we serve. And I just want to say I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson.
Yes, I just had a question for staff or Attorney Frazier. This is listed as a resolution, but I also see that it has some monetary value that we have to pay for the radios and also for the $5 per radio a month. So how is that?
It's my understanding you've already appropriated the funds, we just haven't done an agreement.
Okay. I just asked the question.
No.
And you have a right.
Thank you. That's it.
That's it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson. Commissioner Doug Dominic.
Yes, Mr. Carter, thank you for coming today. I appreciate having the ability to work with you and everything you've done. Echo the sentiments of Commissioner Lewis Johnson. One question I have, we're getting 44 portable radios. I think you alluded to this. I know you said some would go to public works, some would go to facility maintenance. Where else will they go? Is any of these animal control?
Animal
Yes, sir.
control.
Animal control as well.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I didn't hear that one. That was my
Yes.
main thought was
She did say
animal
All
service.
ACOs will carry those radios.
Sir?
ACOs will carry
Yeah,
the
well, I
radios.
figured that, so I just didn't hear that one. So that's where the three would go for
Yes,
the
sir.
parish.
What about the sheriff?
Thank you so much, Ms. Carter.
Thank you.
Commissioner Stephen Jackson.
Yes, thank you. I'm just curious, is this, or is this any part of like the FirstNet, or y'all working with the FirstNet with the AT&T? Because I know they were doing something.
Okay, this is for mission critical push to talk for radios. It's a radio system. FirstNet is more of using data. So this is strictly for push to talk mission critical for a closed network private radio system. Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Commissioner John Atkins.
Thank you, Madam President. Ms. Clark, I'm just curious, obviously there are a lot of advantages to having a coordinated system that covers all of your entities, but are there disadvantages, like with respect to if you get a bug in the system, all your systems are messed up, or if there's a cyber attack or something like that? Do you all have protections in place to protect
Well, we
you?
do have security in place, and because this is a private network, we control the network, we control the radio system, and yes, it is important that we do worry about if there's failures. With this particular radio system, we have backup on top of backup. At the main site at the 911 center, we have a core or a host for the radio system, but we also have a hotspot redundant backup at another location. So if our 911 center was to be, if that tower was to be knocked out, or we were to have a fire at our 911 center, we have another backup location that automatically it switches over. So the users would never know that there was an issue or a problem. As far as continued backups, we also have the port as a new location that we have as our backup communication center, and we have microwave hops. So we have microwave that ties all of our radio systems together so that if one tower fails, the other system picks it up and it reroutes the traffic through the other towers. So it's something that has been seriously engineered. I will say that y'all are currently a tenant and an operator on our radio system now. That you have multiple parish departments that operate on our system, and I think that they can attest to that we've had very little downtime or worry about us not being able to provide communications to your departments.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Commissioner Atkins. Commissioner Matthew Lynn.
Ms. Carter, did the old system, the old radio system, did it allow responders to speak to each other?
It did have the capability of phone interconnect, and we did not purchase that particular feature with this radio system. That we found that very little people use them, because if they wanted to have an offline communication, they would use their cell phones. So we do not have phone interconnect with this radio system. It is strictly push to talk, mission critical, as well as for local governments. So there is no phone interconnect with
So
it.
the old system would allow responders to communicate to each other, and the new system does not?
No, talking about phone.
No, on the, how does this system work?
It is a radio wireless system.
Okay.
You're talking about using it to make phone calls.
No, ma'am. I'm talking about responders to speak to other responders.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, yes, sir. I thought you were talking about to make a phone call as opposed to. No, absolutely. We have over 4,000 radios currently working on our existing system that enable them to communicate with each other based upon what those particular departments wanted. They can have Public Works, they can have Fire District 1, but you have probably over 26 different public safety agencies and about 35 local governmental entities that are all sharing the same system. And it enables us to program those radios based upon the department's needs. So if the police department tells me that I need to be able to talk to Public Works, Water and Sewerage, the fire department, the sheriff's department, we program those attributes into the radio. Just like with the Parish Commission, we sit down with each of the departments and say, who do you talk to on a daily basis? Who do you need to talk to in an emergency situation? And we program those talk groups into those radios.
Would someone working flooding on the Red River in Caddo Parish be able to speak with someone working flooding in Bossier Parish?
Yes, sir. If their radios were programmed that way initially, they would, or they can be programmed to meet future needs. We can also talk to every department with the new system. We can talk to every public safety agency that operates on the LWIN system, which is the Louisiana State system. So we'll have the ability to not only talk internally with Caddo, Bossier, DeSoto, Red River, but we could talk to any parish in the state that's operating on the state system as well.
Thank you so much. Thank
You're
you, Madam
welcome.
President.
Thank you. Commissioner Mike Middleton.
Thank you. Thank you for what you do, Martha.
I
I
appreciate
think you
it.
may have gotten to my question just then. Do we have interoperability with the Louisiana State Police?
We will, sir.
That's good. Thank you.
With the new radio system, we will.
That's good. And that's immediately after everything is in place?
As soon as we flip the switch, we will have those communications capabilities.
Thank you. That's all I need. That's simple.
Thank you so much, Ms. Carter.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Ms. Carter, thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Dr. Wilson.
Madam President, that concludes my report for the day.
You're in the court? Oh, I'm sorry. Parliamentarian Bowman.
Excuse me. Thank you, Madam President. And I always have to say I'll be brief. I don't know why, but it's not about that. I will not be talking too long because it's a subject that's really old at this point. And first of all, I want to thank administration. You all are great. I think bar none, we know best in the county and in the parishes. We've been recognized. I like how we're forward thinking and we do a lot of things, especially like what we did with Blanchard and people affected by Red River and even citizens of Allendale and Queensboro for the tornadoes. So, and I just love y'all, first of all. Now that we've gotten past the love, I'm with Tina Turner. What's love got to do with this? Nothing. It has everything to do with the citizen. Ms. Young, can you stand up, please? I'm sorry, you don't even know I'm doing this, and I hope you don't be offended, but I'm offended for you for the fact that I remember when we had our meeting with the citizens, and you can sit down, yes ma'am. She was one of the first ones there. She did everything she was supposed to. She was affected. This has been over a year and a half from now, and she didn't fit in the minor category. What category did you fit in? major. So I understand as not only as a human being myself and just organizations and things, we make mistakes and things sometimes people are missed. But I think that we really have to pay attention to and put ourselves also in people's shoes, considering her. For me, I'm hurt and upset because I've spoken to her for over a year. I was there with her. She's spoken with other commissioners as well. And I thank Commissioner Johnson and Gage Watts as well. She has done what she was supposed to do. She's filled out everything. There are people, I mean, she did what she was supposed to do. And then we give her the paper to redo stuff. And I understand we run out of money and things of that nature, but we've done what we had to do to even make her prove it. My thing is not for someone new. This is someone who did and followed the system, who's been still affected in a way. And I would have some concerns. You know, it's great that we were able to offer this, but then when we offer this and she qualifies and she got everything, you know, as far as the T's crossed and the I's dotted, the issue is the impact of time delay and still not being serviced, still having everything that she needs. I mean, I've had copies, I still have copies of things that she's done. I don't know what is going on with, I don't know if it's contract or what, but at this point, there's no excuse, there's no reason for her to have to fill out another form for stuff that she already told us, Red Cross and everybody else. We just need to do, I don't know what it is, something has to be done for her. And I don't see how, I mean, I know that it wasn't on purpose, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm saying to the people that are in this room, amongst us, amongst administration, and attorneys and everyone else, there has to be a way that we can do what we said we were going to do for her and not have her still waiting a year and a half and a home that's not what it was, but yet she followed what she was supposed to do. And she's still not being serviced right, and it's not fair, and it's not right to delay it any longer. It's not right to continue to pacify it. It's not right to bandage a gash, not a wound. It fell in major category. So that's all I wanted to say. I'm not trying to go off anybody, but I'm going off on the situation. I'm putting myself in her place. She's beyond, and the family's frustrated. Other commissioners are as well. And I am. I'm more frustrated and I hurt for her because I know at the end of the day, the great thing is I developed a relationship, you know, talking more and more and more, you know, as with other constituents. But the point is, she's developed relationships, people outside of the district and everywhere else because she knows everybody from Red Cross to Homeland Security. She's met with everybody. Can we please help her? Just let her do what needs to be done. There's no excuse. I'm not listening and waiting for one. We got to do it, and that's just all to it. That's my part, and I thank you, Mr. President.
All right. Okay, next item, Mr. Clerk.
Next, we move to commission remarks, communications, reports, and other items related to work session agenda.
Okay. No commissioners?
Next, we
Okay.
move to president's
I have
Jackson on the board.
I have one. Commissioner Stephen Jackson.
Yeah, I'll just say it at this time, that when it comes up, ordinance number 5891, I'll be asking us to either postpone or remove. But I just want to make some comments. I appreciate the person reaching out to identify private resources to help out. But I just want to note that this organization did everything that they're supposed to do. They filled out every, at least to my knowledge, and I have not been made aware of anything that was not done. I could just go forward and push this through. I think the votes are there to push it through. But in spirit of compromise, I'll ask for us to withdraw at this time. But I want us to be very cautious of what we're saying about organizations, and not just organizations, but people, because folks have lives after they leave from down here. And if we're going to just take one person's word with no evidence of wrongdoing, I think this happened with Caddo Community Action Agency.
Right.
I get them mixed up, where there was an investigation going on there. Nothing was done wrong with this organization, but yet they were singled out in a process. They've been treated unfairly. And so I just want to make sure that we're very cautious and cognizant of what we say and what we do and how it affects people when we get beyond the politics, because folks have a reputation online, the organization is on the line, and we ought not subject them to false information or just chatter. Everything that we do down here is a public document, it's public record, and it should be verified. It should be stated legitimately if there's an issue before we make those type of comments. Anything else is a witch hunt. So at the appropriate time, I'll ask us to, at least for right now, postpone. Thank you, Madam President.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Jackson. See no other commissioners on board? Next item, Mr. Clark.
Okay, next, we move to President's Report.
Okay, good afternoon once again. I can't believe I'm here again, but first I do want to begin by offering my condolences to the families of the victims of gun violence. And again, want to let them know that they're in our thoughts and our prayers, especially for the precious 1-month-old baby, Queen Dean, who was murdered this weekend. I pray that God comforts this family and this entire community during this horrific tragedy, and that God will give the law enforcement the wisdom in finding who's responsible for this horrendous murder. Also, offer my condolences to the tragedies in El Paso, making its 250th mass murder, and Dayton, Ohio made it 251 that we're dealing with in the USA. And I'll continue to talk about it. You all know this. How many casualties will we have to face before we admit that we need to do something to keep our country safer? We need to address an epidemic that's choking the life out of the communities, literally. We need to address gun control legislation. And I'll continue to request that we collectively come together with an aggressive plan of action to address this gun violence. Earlier today, we had a program in recognition of the Purple Heart Recipients Recognition Day. The Veteran Celebration Committee held it. I want to thank Dr. Wilson, CAO, Erica Bryant, and since I don't have a work husband anymore, can't make you my work wife, but I'll ask you if you would ask Mr. Kevin Lawrence if he would light up the courthouse purple for us on Wednesday in recognition of Purple Heart Recipients Day.
All right.
I said, hey, I didn't see you out there. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. He always does that in recognition of certain months, so we appreciate you. And I thought about it. I said that would be nice for us to do. Mr. Glass, I have a quick question. It's not long. It's not hard, but I need to know if this has been taken care of for the constituent, or several constituents in that area that was dealing with the parish, the city, SWEPCO, whose responsibility it is for the lot in the grass and everything that was growing up. It was on the line, and nobody really wanted to say if it was our entity or not. Has it been taken care of?
I don't know that it's actually been taken care of. We've talked between SWEPCO. SWEPCO had it on listed. The city owned one of the lots, but the actual overgrowth was really on a utility servitude that SWEPCO maintained. And it was on their list, and we had checked on it. I'd have to get with Chuck to update that. But we did go back and check a second time after that.
Okay, I did, Dr. Wilson, make a request that the parish take care of that area. These people have been going through that for over a year about who that property actually belongs to. So we will wait to hear from Director Wilson today if possible.
Yes, ma'am. We have to work with SWEPCO because we don't have the right to go into the utilities without their permission.
Right.
So we have
so
to
it's
work
on the
through
right
them
of way.
To get the problem
It's
solved.
a utility servitude.
It's a
SWEPCO's
servitude.
property. but it was on their list to do. Now, they do take their time sometimes. They got a lot of utilities, but we'll check up on it and see where they are on it.
Yeah, because I mean, that list is getting longer, it seems like, over the months about it, and somebody needs to do something in their area about it, because they constantly.
We'll keep pressuring them for a resolution that now.
And is it close to the SPAR, to the main SPAR location?
I think it is close to a park.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're correct on that.
Okay. We'll wait for an update on it, and maybe we'll have something
We'll
by
get an update for
Thursday.
you.
Thank you. I want to also say thanks to all the vendors and the employees who were in attendance for our annual expungement summit, and my colleagues for their support. Special thanks to Commissioner John Atkins, Commissioner Lewis Johnson, and Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson, Cheryl McGee, Crystal Greenlee, our CAO, Erica Bryant, and of course our CEO, Dr. Wilson, in his absence. The citizens of Caddo Parish are ecstatic each time this program is presented to them for them, because we do believe in second chances, and a person should not have to spend the rest of their lives paying for those small mistakes. I want to let the public know on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Praise Temple will be holding their annual back to school prayer and backpack giveaway. So if you know some children who are in need, please get them there on this Wednesday beginning at 5 p.m. And we've already said kudos to our summer student work program. So that will conclude my report. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
We have no old business, we move to new business. Zoning case 19-303-P in regards to ordinance number 5890 of 2019, amending the zoning of property located on the south side of South Lakeshore Drive, approximately 1,500 feet northeast of Duncan Road, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from R17 single-family residential zoning to R112 single-family residential zoning.
Motion to move to
Second.
Thursday.
Okay, it's moved by Commissioner Commissioner Lewis Johnson, and that was second by Commissioner Stephen Jackson. Please vote. Okay, that passes 12-0. Next item.
Authorize the introduction of ordinance number 5891 of 2019, amending the budget estimate revenues and expenditures for the Riverboat Fund in the amount of $8,000 to provide an additional appropriation for the Northwest Louisiana Youth Golf and Education Foundation.
Motion to remove at this time.
Second.
Okay. It was moved by Commissioner Stephen Jackson to remove this item, and second by Commissioner Mike Middleton. Commissioner Jackson, would you like to speak again?
I just
Or you
really
suffice?
want to push this through, but I'm on.
Temporary.
I'm just gonna take it off for right now.
That's all your comments?
That's it.
Okay, please vote.
Pick
So
my
we're gonna
button.
be voting no.
We're voting.
Yes,
if
to remove
you're
it.
in favor
Yes,
to
to
remove
remove
it,
it.
you would vote yes. If you're not in favor to remove it, you would vote no.
Okay, we'll make sure you get it right.
Which way you voted? Let me see.
Mr. Bowman?
Mess with Middleton.
And that passes 12-0. Next item.
Authorize the introduction of ordinance number 5892 of 2019 to amend and reenact section 2-51 of the Code of Ordinances of the Parish of Caddo relative to the Departments of Finance and Human Resources.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, that was moved by Commissioner Doug Dominic, and that was second by Commissioner Lynn Carthorne.
Yes.
Vice President Chavez.
Thanks, President. Dr. Wilson, is this going to create positions, like we'll need dual directors or assistants, or it's going to be a negative gain on the budget or
Yes,
loss?
sir. I foresee that, yes.
Okay. You said you do foresee it?
Yes, sir, I had to go through a process to get there.
Okay. What would that increase on the budget be?
Very, very minimal. I mean, the money is in the budget.
There's no net, you asked about net positions, there's no net position change.
Okay.
There might be a slight,
Increase in-
increase in salary.
All right, totally cool. Thank you, Dr. Wilson.
You're welcome.
Thanks, President.
Okay. See no further discussion, please vote. Okay, and that passes 12-0. Next item.
Authorize the introduction of ordinance number 5893 of 2019 to grant an encroachment of Provincetown Drive, a public residential street for the purpose of construction of an access gate according to
Move to
chapter.
Thursday.
Second.
And let me make one amendment. This needs to say, your attachments say section 40, and it should say chapter 40, I'm sorry, not 19.
Is it corrected in the PDF that says corrected?
It is,
Okay.
yes. And it's also been corrected with the publication.
They got that right, huh? Okay.
Same area.
All right. It was moved by Commissioner Dominic, and I'm sorry, who was the second?
Todd.
Commissioner
Jackson.
Stephen Jackson. Okay,
That's fine.
please vote. My whole computer just went down. That's okay. Let's switch to paper.
You know the enemy business.
Ms. Gage Watts?
Okay. Thought I pushed it. I pushed it again.
Okay.
I like this medicine. It works better.
And that passes 12-0.
Next, we move to authorize resolution number 57 of 2019, authorizing the request of special exemptions to the requirement of LSARS 18-532 and no precinct.
Moved by the chair.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Stephen Jackson, Dominique, Lyndon B. Johnson. No, I'm just
Explain it.
joking. Commissioner Jackson.
So I was gonna make a motion to englobo and advance resolution number 57, resolution number 58, resolution number 60, resolution number 61, resolution number 62, resolution number 63, resolution number 64, resolution number 65, the authorization to extend the registrar deadline, reappointment of Mr. Billy Wayne Montgomery, authorize special resolutions, and the two special resolutions for recognition.
Second.
Was it all of them?
Yes, except for 59, except for everything except for 50.
The one about the NGOs?
Yeah, except for 59.
Can
Okay, I second it. Okay.
I have a question?
Yes.
Come on.
Commissioner Jackson,
No,
you done? Commissioner Dominic?
Can you explain, I'm gone blank, this exemption on the 300 voters, is this something that we always do, or is this being recommended, or what's the deal?
Yes. Yes. Yes, it is. It's something that we always do. It's from the voter registrar's office, and this is just a part of the procedure to make sure that we are merging and consolidating them at what he's already had the exemption done from the state prior.
So it's not gonna mess up any of the voting precincts in the rural
No,
areas?
sir.
Thank you.
Everything will still remain the same,
Okay.
but this is a part of the procedure so that the
That
state
you
can
can't
give
do
its
that.
final approval.
Okay, thank you, I'm good.
Okay.
Good question.
Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson?
No, I was going in global what Commissioner Jackson did.
Okay.
Okay, so we still have a motion on the floor.
All right. I see no further discussion. Please vote. Oh, no. Commissioner Johnson, were you on the board?
No, I'm sorry. I pushed the wrong button. Thank you, Madam President.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
We're not through. We
And
have one
that
more.
passes. Oh,
Oh,
somebody
right.
didn't vote?
Now, we have one more resolution.
Okay.
You englobo it all, but authorize resolution number 59, to suspend the Caddo Parish NGO and Economic Development Grant Program.
So move.
Second.
All right, we got a first and a second. I see, Commissioner Middleton, would you like to speak on your motion?
Sure, thank you. As you know, we just had this audit was done. We paid people money to come in here and do an audit on how we were doing business. And even though the applications for the NGOs had already been submitted for the year, it still doesn't mean that we have to give them the money. We're not statutorily required to give them the money or anything of that nature. We need to have our all of our stuff straight. we're gonna be transparent, ethical, and accountable in everything we do. That's what I'm for. I don't know if any other commissioners up here don't choose not to be that way. So anyhow, we'd just like to see us go ahead and suspend this for now. Let's get all of our House work in position and go for it.
All right.
Voting it up.
Commissioner Johnson, I saw you on the board. Did you want to make a comment before you left?
Oh, do I want to make a comment?
Well, yeah, I saw your
no,
name.
I'm sorry. That was my mistake.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Commissioner Doug Dominic.
So this will move this to Thursday, correct?
That's right.
Okay.
Commissioners, we no longer have a quorum, so there is no vote to be had.
Quite political.
Because we lack a quorum.
Point of order, or point
Yes, sir.
of important inquiry. Mr. Clerk, what happens when you lose a quorum when an item's on the agenda?
You can be asked for anyone that's left to return, but, and then I think legal, what else there?
Well, it can be moved to Thursday because you don't have a quorum, so you can't conduct business. So your option is to put it back on the Tuesday agenda.
We can't even meeting adjourn. Yeah, thanks.
So can I ask a question? So back to John's point, how do we adjourn the meeting then?
We're formally adjourned when we lose a quorum.
Right.
Okay.
That's right.
So we'll just come back Thursday at a regular meeting, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
All right, meeting's formally over. Interesting.